What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment. And I wanted to go into, if you're in the Discord, you know of this. I post these things in my Discord on like my membership site. But I wanted to go into the U.S. Open. It was something, it's just like the WNBA. There are certain things I make videos on and people just aren't interested. But in this case, it's one of those deals where it was very interesting to me, this U.S. Open. So, again, I try and offer some things for the people on the Discord and things of that nature because I can't always make videos. But I found it very interesting. This guy, Wyndham Clark, so back on the 16th, I liked him, and I'm going to explain why. And basically, we go through it in the entire thing. Essentially, to me, Clark made the most sense because of the odds. So they have, if you look here, this is where we went with them. I had them at -6, and it was very odd because they had Harmon, for example, getting like 40-1, right? They had Schofield getting way better odds than Clark, despite only being one up. He was like 5-1. You had Dustin Johnson at like 7-1, and things of that nature. But anyway, I just wanted to show that because for anyone that might say like, oh yeah, right, who you didn't have Wyndham Clark. The point is, the reason I like him is he's from Denver. Okay, so I thought it was interesting. Denver just won, and I'm like, all right, he's getting pretty good odds, and he not only is he from Denver, but if you look at Fowler, who he was grouped up against the entire time. Fowler is from his residence is Florida, so he's from Cali, but he claims residence in Florida. So I found some connections there. Djokovic just had his 23rd Grand Slam victory, and Rory would have gone to 20, not Grand. I think it's Grand Slam, yeah, like major victory. Rory would have increased to 24 with a win, but with a loss he stayed on 23 with Djokovic. So I found that interesting. But you can kind of see, I don't have the odds right now, but if you were following along, then you know. Scheffler the whole time was getting way better odds than Clark, and it's because he's the number one player in the world. So I knew money was going to go in on Scheffler, who just conveniently, along with Dustin Johnson, I would say they were the most obvious sellers. They just played like complete garbage after looking really good. So here's another reason I wanted to make this video. For anyone who thinks it's real, a good 5-6 years ago when I thought it was real, I would continually pick Dustin Johnson because he was always like getting 20-1, and I'm like, okay, he's a good player. He can definitely win one, and I just kept putting money on him like an idiot, and he never got it done. It was always somebody else. So this time around when I was picking, I could immediately rule out Scheffler, Dustin Johnson, English, leave McIlroy because he's a possibility. Fowler, the comeback story, definitely was there, so I had him top 3. But at the end of the day, I think we can do good on golf going forward. Tennis as well. We did go with Casper Ruud, obviously. He didn't beat Djokovic, but we did have him winning the round before as about a 50-50, so that was a good payout. Again, I try and get what I can out, but all my tennis and golf and all that goes in the Discord. I put it on my membership site too. But yeah, Clark here just made sense, and it was just weird because you'll look at the odds and you'll see, again, for example, Harmon, who after day 2 was in the top 5, getting 40-1. But then you have guys that aren't even close, like Scheffler, who are getting, and I get he's number 1 in the world, getting like 3-1. So it was really interesting, but yeah, again, this is just to encourage anyone to, join the Discord if you want to talk about live alpha all the time. If you think it's a coincidence, maybe. I was watching it. It doesn't look like something that they're completely scripting, but it also looks like, for example, on any given hole, Rory can just overshoot by 20 yards, force a bogey, or Fowler can miss a putt. All these different things can happen. So I'm not saying it was rigged for Clark. I had him winning, and it wasn't because I thought he was the best player. I can say that. So my biggest takeaway from this is I never would have had this pick. I've made multiple golf picks, over the years. Always tried to pick the best guy. I'd pick 3-4 guys, and I still wouldn't get it right. The first time ever I picked based off of it being rigged and whose story makes the most sense. This guy's mom just died. It's Father's Day. There's all these different things. And it just, to me, it made a lot of sense that that Clark was going to win. So, yeah, I thought it was, again, it's one that I did it with baseball more people are now, but in the beginning with baseball, I tried it with tennis, I tried it with hockey. There's certain things that people just aren't interested in. I get a lot of you aren't going to be interested in golf. I just thought, like I said, if you're in the Discord, then you already know. We already discussed this. I know a lot of you guys agreed. I know a lot of you guys, had your own opinions and whatnot. Not a lot of people talking about golf, which is, fine. It was just funny because a bunch of people were like, you should do golf. And then I'm finally like, all right, I love Wyndham Clark. Who's with me? And, not a lot of people were loving it, but it's fine. I get it. I know nothing about golf, so I really was blind looking at these guys. So Wyndham Clark could be one of the biggest choke artists ever, and that's why, he was getting 15-1. But I do find it very interesting. Another thing that was interesting is I was going to go into this too with the PGA merger. One of the biggest reasons I wasn't loving McIlroy is, don't forget, you can say he was loyal to PGA. That doesn't matter now that there was a merger. He was not loyal to this new merged company. So I'm thinking, okay, they're either going to have a notable name win it because they want to have a draw for this merger, but more likely than not, it's not going to be McIlroy because they don't like him. Are they going to do? Then people were bringing up the Dustin Johnson possibility. I just didn't see it because of my experience with Dustin Johnson. He signed with Liv, I believe. So, they're just taking money instead of earning their money. So that alone should tell you they probably throw games. If they're happy being paid no matter how bad they play, then they're probably, not going to be out there not throwing games. But, yeah, I would wager to say Scheffler, McIlroy, and Fowler just took so much of the money here. Not many people got on Clark. And Vegas is very slick with it. Like I said, they get guys like English. They get guys like, where is he at? He finished really bad. Goodness. I was looking for Harden or whatever his name is. He was in the top 5, and he just completely fell out. But they get certain guys that they look like, oh, man, this guy has a shot. And the 40-1s never win. That's another thing I want to go into is just lines, like what lines pay. Because you're not going to get 40-1. You're not going to get 25-1. Now, Hutch brought up to me that Clark was 100-1 before this tournament started, so that's pretty insane. Again, before the tournament started, being honest, I probably wouldn't have picked this guy. I got to be honest. I am proud to say, though, it was at the end of day 1, and he was in 5th place, and the people behind him were McIlroy, Scheffler, Dustin. So, Vegas did not have him in the top. They barely had him in the top 10, really. So it still wasn't an easy one. But, yeah, I thought it was interesting. Denver, again, beats Florida. Pretty interesting. And, of course, it's on Father's Day. They kept saying how his mom died. One thing I'll say is the announcers, I don't think they're in on it with golf. Because these guys were so obviously biased for Rick. I've never seen more biased announcers in my life. They were literally talking about Clark's mom dying. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. Fowler just took the course. Everyone stop. We'll talk about the dead mom later. It was so obvious. Everything Fowler did was accredited to him being so cool, calm, and collected. Almost like he's like Johnny Depp. They're trying to make him this celebrity, the sunglasses. And then Clark is everything he did. They're just oh wow, he caught a break there, or he didn't make a mistake. They really just downlit him. I've never seen gaslighting like I saw for Ricky Fowler. Also interesting, McIlroy didn't congratulate Clark or even mention him in his post-game speech. So I'm wondering if this merger is going to be pretty contingent on how we see the players acting forward, and if it has anything to do with, if it's going to be if more scripted, less scripted, what might happen. I haven't watched much golf before. But, yeah, I just wanted to say, anyone that tailed, good job in the Discord. I thought I'd cover this now because, again, I don't think many people are going to watch it anyway. But it's just one of those things where I think the next couple majors, not just this, but tennis, we can get good odds. I mean, we had this at a point where, and this is what I go into at my channel, we don't just say, oh, sports is rigged. We're actually going to offer value, and that's what I always try and strive to do. we're at the point where on day two, well, we got in at the end of day one, so it was technically day three. Day three basically had an easy hedge, where we could have hedged anybody that took Clark at 15-1. Could have picked McIlroy and Fowler. They were both getting over 3-1. And then by the end of day three, Clark's tied for the lead. The hedge is still available. So, it's more about just optimizing value. When I think there's a really good opportunity getting in 10-1, 15-1. Not that they're always going to win, but you have to understand, McIlroy and Scheffler aren't going to win every tournament. McIlroy hasn't won an Open in 10 years. So you see they made it very star-studded. They made it interesting. But I don't think it's a coincidence. I really don't. This guy wins. He has definitely the best performance of his life. And he, again, it just happens to be from Denver. And I thought Fowler might finish second just because he was from, his residence is Florida. But it is interesting. Oh, and also this is the 123rd U.S. Open right before the merger, 1, 2, 3. So the symbolism's there. I just don't see it as much. So I didn't really use gematria for this. This was more balancing the Vegas lines that I found to be suspicious, a story that makes sense, and just recency bias because Denver just won. And they were treating him like Jokic, because Jokic was all about his family, his brothers. And this guy, they showed it beforehand, but they showed it a lot afterhand. It was all about his family all being there. His family stormed the field just like Jokic's brother stormed the court. It was very similar. And they even said, kind of in a wink nudge way, we saw another, they said native, so I think they messed, he's not native, but we saw another Denver native recently with some big brothers who willed him to victory, something of that nature. So, interesting, I do think it's all related. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that think, I think it's related. So I thought I'd throw this video out because for the gematria guys, maybe you found some stuff and you're like, oh man, I thought Clark for these reasons, or I thought it was suspicious, or if you're into other types of symbolism, or you know more about golf than I do, I just thought you guys could basically add on to it. And in the comments, I'm curious to see where you guys had Clark, how big of a shocker him winning was, if it was kind of obvious, if you thought Rory was going to be in the final two but not win because of Vegas. That's kind of what I thought. All these different things and what we can expect going forward. Since it's going into Live, I'll probably be covering more golf. It's going to be scripted as heck. So this one was an interesting one. And yeah, like I said, in my Discord, and I do buy me a coffee where I do my membership. I just do basically every pick that isn't that I can't just get out there on a daily basis. I throw on both of them. I throw the suggestions just so people can do what they want with them. But with the in my Discord, it's free. I mean, you can just join there for free. But again, golf isn't the most popular thing, but if it's making money, I'm going to keep doing it. So we'll see how it goes going forward. Majors are probably a little easier to do well with than minors, I would imagine. But again, anything can always happen. So I'll be going into more NBA. I'll be going into NFL. I will be doing baseball. Again, I've been keeping that more exclusive to the people that really just want to follow the rig system, because baseball, the videos really aren't that fun. It's just me going over units and, this team and the metrics. But, I mean, I could still get back into that. I've been a little busy. But, yeah, I've been watching the tournament, and it's just funny. First guy I pick on the logic that golf is rigged, and I freaking get a 15-1 shot. So, and he beats out the best players in the world. So, say what you will, but this was more for the people that might stumble upon the channel and think golf isn't rigged too. I think they all are. I think this is a great example. And again, I'm happy the guy won. Trust me, I'm more than happy. I just think if Rory really wanted to, he probably could have got it done. I think Fowler could have done better than, what did he go, 4 or 5 over today, something like that. So I just don't think that's all a coincidence. So, hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said, if you want more golf, I'll definitely supply it. It's very calm to watch. And yeah, I just found this very interesting. So take care and happy earnings.